This is Community Forum. I'm Kurt Radel from Waycross Community Media, and today we're spotlighting Madi's House. With us is the founder, Chief Executive Officer, Julie Raleigh. Julie, it's delighted to have you with us.
Thank you. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here today with you.
Well, we really do appreciate it. Let's begin from the very beginning, Madi's House and the story of how this became.
Well, my daughter Madi suffered from mental illness and addiction, and it started when she was about 14 years old. Madi was bullied, and she had a very traumatic episode that happened to her freshman year. So many young adults that go down the road of mental health and addiction start with a trauma, and Madi had a severe trauma, and she had PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and she unfortunately tried to numb it herself. She didn't tell anybody what happened to her until her third rehab, and she went down the road of addiction and mental health, and it just was a perfect storm. It was 10 years she suffered from mental health and addiction, in and out of rehabs. We have amazing rehabs here in Cincinnati. We actually sent her out to a rehab in Texas. She loved being outdoors. She loved animals, so we sent her out to a farm of 6 months. But she'd always describe when she came back home or came out of a rehab or psychiatric hospitalization, it was like jumping into a black hole. There's very little aftercare, very little. The doctors tell you to go to 90 meetings in 90 days, which is maybe go to AA or NA or maybe NAMI peer group for your mental illness, to go to your psychologist, take the medications they put you on. And we did it all. Madi did everything the doctors told her to do. But there was no community to build around her. You can't go back to the same friends. You have to kind of change your life. You have to find a community that understands you. And she would always describe it as, Mom, you don't have the disease. You don't understand me. I was her mom. I loved her as much as I could. I took her to, everywhere she needed to go for meetings or doctors or hospitalizations. But Madi's House was Madi's idea. I had to lose Madi to listen to Madi. Madi always said, if there only was a place I could just go hang out and be with people just like me that understand me, I know I could continue that bridge, building that bridge to healthy. And there just wasn't that piece. It's a missing piece until Madi's House. So Madi took her life at the young age of 24 on January 17th, 2019. And our family at her funeral vowed that she did not die in vain, and we declared war on addiction and mental health. The other word Madi would use a lot, Kurt, was, she's like, Mom, it's like every day I wake up when you have a mental health disease, addiction disease, it's like I have to be ready for a battle. Like that day I'm faced with what's going to be thrown at me today, what's going to trigger me, that's something somebody says, something that I hear, smell, do. And that was really a hard thing for a young girl at a young age without that next step. So we declared war, and we started working tirelessly and endlessly to start Madi's House. And we were just blessed of what's gone on in the past 3 years. And we have a Madi's House now.
Well, you took tragedy, and the family took her message and took it to heart. And you started off with Madi's Annex. Tell us about that.
Yes. Well, a friend of my father, his name was Dennis Bly, and he took a box, put a little key in it, took us to lunch, and pushed it across the table and said, Julie, I was at Madi's funeral. I heard what you said you were going to do to help others. And here is a storefront, a 2,200 square foot storefront. Do it. Get your offices started or build a mini Madi's House. And so that's what I did. With my family, we renovated this little space. We had a meeting space in the back. We had an art therapy place, a little workout center. We had some games. And we opened Madi's Annex in November, actually on Black Friday, 3 years this past Black Friday. And we opened it to be a hangout for young adults that suffer from addiction and mental health.
You've taken it from a very short period of time from the Annex, and now you have a new home.
Oh, it is a blessing. We were just so thrilled when Bon Secours Mercy Health called, and they did extensive focus groups of what's going on with these young people, that just a revolving door in an emergency situation, ODing or needing a Narcan, being in rehab, relapsing, it just constant the same thing was happening. So they did a real deep dive, and they heard what our mission was to an aftercare center, a bright, vibrant, colorful aftercare center that is free to everyone. And they said, we want to partner with you. So they called and gifted us originally 17 acres off of 74 North Bend, but we weren't able to get the zoning changed. So we had to kind of do a pivot. And then they found us this amazing, amazing property on Pal Crosley's estate that they gifted to Maddie's house. And we spent a year transforming it and turning it into a bright, vibrant, cool place to hang out.
Well, I've worked with Mercy many a times, and they're a wonderful organization to work with. Let's focus now on the services that you offer at Maddie's house.
Yeah, well, we just opened the big house. We ran out of the annex for 3 years, and I feel like that was kind of our pilot program. We really saw what are the needs of these young adults. In those short 3 years, we had over 10,000 young adults walk through our doors that spent 200,000 hours in our tiny little 2,000.
10,000 people. 10,000.
Yes, and they spent
amazing.
200,000 hours just in
Wow.
our little annex. So we were so thrilled to move to a bigger spot. So a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, a lot of community engagement, so many donations from so many amazing companies, individuals, spent time in there and gifted us things to turn it into this amazing spot called Maddie's House now. We moved in on December 10th. Like I said, all our services, Kurt, are free. Everything is free. We have a babysitting room. We saw that need when we had the annex. So many young adults have children and they don't go to continue their therapy groups, don't go and continue being with other adults because they might need babysitting or they can't afford babysitting. One night at the annex, a young lady stayed late and she said, "Thank you so much. I heard about Maddie's house, and we always have a dinner for them. There's always, the soup always provides frozen soup. They can always go eat a meal." And she said, "I didn't eat today because I knew I needed a meeting and I needed to pay for babysitting. So I didn't eat. But when I got to Maddie's house, I was actually able to get a meal. So that just was wow. In our new house, we need to have a babysitting room. So we have a babysitting room. We have transportation. That is another pitfall for people that get out of jail or get out of a mental health, a psychiatric hospitalization or a rehab center. They might not have their license anymore. They can't afford a car. They can't afford, gas to put it or insurance. So Maddie's house has free transportation. We have so many wonderful services. Our programs have grown so much. Every night we have AA or NA groups. We have NAMI, which is National Alliance of Mental Illness. We have peer-to-peer NAMI. We have parent NAMI groups. We have art and craft therapy. We have journaling classes. We have a book club. We have a chess club. I could go on and on and on. And just hangout time, because that's what they need. Maddie's house is about filling their time, finding their people, and then that's when you feel the hope. And that's when you continue that walk of one day at a time as you walk down the road of mental illness and addiction.
And what's also wonderful about the programming and all the services that you offer is they're free.
They're free. Not a penny. We don't charge anybody for anything. Everything is free.
Well, you talked about the growth. You went from the annex. You now have the new house that you opened up in December.
Yep.
And now you're going to have a wellness and fitness center.
We are working hard. We're about $1 million into our fundraising. We just had a big roast and toast with the wonderful Marty Brenneman and his lovely wife Amanda.
Now, Marty who?
Oh, he was amazing.
Yes.
We had an illustrious group of roasters and toasters and had a great night that night. We were able to raise $500,000 to the project. And we're naming it after my father. My dad served our community for almost 50 years. Like I said earlier, as prosecuting attorney, common police court judge, and sheriff. And he's been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And the biggest thing, I think, when he found out his diagnosis was, I served the community for 51 years. I don't have a courtroom. I don't have a street name after me. I don't have my picture anywhere. And unfortunately, we lost his only son. My older brother died at 3. So there was no heir to carry on the lease name. So I went home and I thought a little bit about it. And I knew our next steps is the Wellness and Fitness Center. And we're naming it after him. It's going to be the Simon Lease Wellness and Fitness Center. So his name will be on something that will help, young adults.
You talked about that the project, $1 million, how can you reach your threshold of what you're trying to achieve?
Well, yeah, like I said, we've raised $1 million to the Simon Lee's Wellness and Fitness Center. The goal is $4 million. It's a big project. So for more information, you can go to our website, M8Cincy, with a Y, CINCY.org. Again, that's MH, like Maddie's house, M8Cincy, with a Y, CINCY.org, or give us a call. Our lines are open, 513-347-MADDY, 513-347-MADDY.
And what kind of programs and services will that offer?
Oh my gosh, that's going to expand everything. We're going to build a music room in that house, in our new facility that Bootsy and Patty Collins are going to help us put together. We're going to have a male room, a kind of a man cave.
Oh, a man cave.
Yeah, because
Okay.
sometimes the men just want to be with the men, and sometimes the girls just want to be
Yes.
with the girls. So there's going to be like a she shack in there. We're going to expand
A she shack.
A she shack.
I like that
Yeah,
name.
a she
Yes.
shack. We're going to expand our babysitting, so we're going to actually build onto that, so we have a larger area for our young, wonderful kids that come to Maddie's house with their parents, and then a very transitional gym that will support pickleball courts. It will support basketball, volleyball, and just be very transitional. We do a lot of mind, body, and spirit at Maddie's house, and we need a bigger spot. We have a beautiful sunroom that overlooks our fishing lake, but we've really outgrown the house before we just got started. We have some nights we have over 100 people show up for different meetings. And our biggest room in the house, the house is gorgeous. It's 8,500 square foot home, but it's an older home and very chopped up. And we took down a lot of walls to open it up as much as we could, but we need more room, which is a good problem.
It's a good problem.
Well, or a bad problem, because we
Well, what you're doing is you're servicing the needs.
Mhm.
And if you need more, the way
Right.
you talked about the community engagement,
Mhm.
I think that community engagement will be there to enlarge what your needs are. But we talk about the wellness center, the fitness center. Now you're looking at a Maddie's thrift shop.
Yes, we are. Where our annex used to be, we are going to turn that into a thrift shop. Because sustainability is so important. We've been so blessed to have so many wonderful donors, and our charity events are just over the top amazing, the people that help us out with that. But we need some cash coming in like daily. So if we turn it into a thrift shop, we thought that might be a good way to funnel some cash in. And everybody has some things they want to get rid of in their home, so we'll take anything. So our annex over on Glen Crossing we're hoping to open it sometime midsummer. So we're working with some volunteers to kind of thrift through what we've received so far, and turn it into the thrift shop.
For someone who's looking at this program right
Mhm.
now,
Mm-hmm.
and they're kind of at the threshold,
Mm-hmm.
I need help, I don't know how,
Mm-hmm.
what do you suggest to them?
Well, first go on our website, mhcincy.org. You can look at all that we have to offer at Maddie's house, and we're only a phone call away. Our number is very simple. It's 513-347, just like La Rosa's 347, but it's Maddie, MADI, and that translates to 6234. And we're right there. We have an amazing program manager that is there to help you answer questions. And, we treat the family too. Like tonight we have in loving memory group that comes, and it's family members that have lost someone to mental health disease or substance use disorder, and we all come together, and it's not like a grief group. Like tonight, we all introduce ourselves. We talk about our loved ones we've lost, but we're having cupcake wars tonight. So we're baking cupcakes, and we're decorating it like our loved one that we've lost would have decorated the cupcakes. So.
Also, when you take a look at Maddie's house,
Mhm.
we talked about you being the founder, chief financial officer, but there's also another side. There's a husband there who's been very
Yeah.
much involved.
Oh my gosh, my family's just Steve Raleigh, my husband Steve Raleigh. We've been married for 36 years. We'll celebrate 37 on September 5th. And he knocked down walls. He is painted till he can't paint anymore. My kids have been all involved. My daughter is our marketing director. She's amazing. My sons are on the board, and it's definitely been a family affair. And we can't bring Maddie back. Maddie loved helping other people more than helping herself. So all we can do as a family is go try and hopefully prevent another family from having the hole in the heart that we have every day that we wake up and go to sleep. That's all we can do, because I can't bring her back. But she's up in heaven making miracles, because, who would have ever thought we'd be here today with a multi-million-dollar piece of property and beautiful home that beautiful bond secures gifted to us. So we're blessed, and God had a purpose when he took Madi.
But you're taking her message
Mm-hmm.
and you're creating miracles here.
Oh, yes,
And we
are.
applaud you, Waycross applauds you for what you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
And we certainly appreciate you coming today.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure and honor, like I said.
Well, we thank you so very much. This has been Community Forum. Our guest, the founder, Chief Financial Executive Officer, Julie Raleigh. I'm Kurt Radel from Waycross Community Media. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.